Hello, everyone. It's me again. I'm Alan, and thank you so much for watching us again. And today we have our speaker, Sabrina, who has shared her experience before about the application for the university in the British Columbia. So in this episode, she's going to share about her insight and thoughts about the living culture in Canada, the transportation, how to budget the living, what's the living cost there, what's the living culture there. Okay. Hi, Sabrina. Hi, how are you today?
Hi, Alan. I'm good today. And you?
Not bad. Thank you so much. So last time we end our episode about um, the school clubs, like the learning environment and the family with the Hong Kong with the other Hong Kong students. And this time, I would like to ask you about more in general. What is the living culture in Canada?
Okay, so the living culture here is, I'd say everyone is pretty friendly. Um, and for example, if you walk into a store, people will just ask you, "Hey, how are you doing?" And then you probably expect the same thing back, like, "Oh yeah, how I'm doing? I'm good."
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do actually talk about the weather quite a bit here.
Is the living culture there busy or very hustle and bustle?
Mm, I would say, mm, if you're a student, you might think that it's pretty busy because you constantly have to
Mm,
worry about assignments. And if it's not assignments, maybe you want to go out and have some fun time with friends. But other than
mm,
that, I think it's generally pretty relaxed over here. Um,
mm,
and I think the overall, perhaps like the transit system, that kind of thing also adds to it because also malls aren't really open that late here. Perhaps for example, today on the weekday, malls might be closed at 6 or 7. So we don't have much of a nightlife. So that also adds to it being kind of relaxed over here.
wait. It closed at 6 and 7, the malls.
Yeah. So like especially during COVID on Monday, the mall that's closest to me closes at 6 on Sundays
Then
and
what
Monday.
else can the people do there?
Exactly. Yeah. So you have a lot of time. You end up having a lot of time.
And the
That's
restaurant as well.
some restaurants are actually a bit better. I think where I live in Richmond, because we have quite a lot of Asians over here. So maybe we tend to have some, a bit more of a nightlife. So we have some restaurants that are open till 1 or 2. But if you go into Vancouver, into the city, some restaurants will close at pretty early. So not past 12.
Mm. So you when during your studies you stayed in the student dormitory, like or the student village?
For the first 2 years of my university degree, I lived on campus.
You live on campus.
Mhm.
And the other 2 years you rent a apartment.
Yeah, I lived away from campus for my last 2 years of my degree.
How may I know how much does it cost for staying on the campus?
Yep. For the student residence that I lived in, it was around $800 per month. That one was a shared unit with 5 other people. So we share the kitchen, we share the washrooms, but we each get
Right.
our own room and bed.
So 5 rooms.
6 rooms. Yeah.
Also
Me and
six
five
rooms
others. Mhm.
and a living room and the toilet, the
Mhm.
washroom.
Yeah.
And there's like $800
Yeah.
per
But
month.
but if you perhaps get a studio, that might be
Mm.
$1,200. So a studio, you'd be on your own. You'd have your own kitchen, your
Mm.
own washroom.
And was that
Yeah.
was that where you live in the last 2 years?
No, I moved out with a couple of friends. Yeah,
Oh.
so it was more like a townhouse style.
Mm.
But I was still around $800 because I didn't choose the master bedroom. So I didn't have my own toilet. So yeah. Yeah.
What is close to the city center?
What is close to the city center?
And what yeah, was it close to the city center?
No. So our campus is pretty big, so we kind of have our own
Mm.
little bubble, our own little life on to the
Mm.
side of the city. But if you want to
Mm.
go into the city center, if you take transit, it might be from 30 minutes to 1 hour to get to the city center.
That's quite far away. Transit for 30 minutes, 1 hour.
Mhm. Yeah, rather than far, I think it's just maybe the transit, like, there's lots of bus stops and then you have to wait for the bus or the SkyTrain.
Uh,
Yeah, so that's where most of the time comes in.
what is the schedule interval of the bus? Like the bus schedule interval, like how many minutes in between each bus?
Yeah, so on weekdays and weekends is a little different, but usually in
Mm.
peak hours, I think you might be able to get a bus every 10 minutes. And
Mm.
on weekends, it's a little bit longer. And on weekends, the scheduling is usually very not on schedule either. So the weekdays is a little bit better. So yeah, so you might be a little stressed when you're trying to plan your transit. So, but you just have to remember that, yeah, sometimes things are not on time.
You mentioned that they're not usually on time. So
Mm.
is that a culture, like being not being punctual, or is that because of the traffic congestion? That's why the bus doesn't arrive on time. Which reason?
Mhm. Um, I would say it's more culture based. Yeah. Yeah, while in Asia, perhaps trains are always on time, buses are
Right.
definitely on time. But here it's a
Yeah.
little bit more relaxed. And even when they don't come on time, like, everyone's pretty chill about it. Yeah.
Well, even for the like students meeting or work meetings, is that the same?
Or perhaps the students might be a little bit more stressed because everyone wants to get to class on time, or maybe you don't. But yeah, the students might feel a little bit more stressed when they think the bus is not coming and there's a long line of students waiting to get on. So
Uh-huh.
that's definitely a source of stress sometimes.
Okay, okay.
Understandable.
It's common to ride a bike.
It's very common. Yeah,
Very
even in the
common.
rain. Yes,
Even in the rain.
even in the
Even in the
rain.
rain.
Mhm.
And do you rent a bike? Like, do you rent a do you rent a bike in the bike shop, or do you actually purchase a first hand or a second hand bike?
I think most people do end up buying their own bike, and you can buy a secondhand bike off of a website or someone else. Some people may and want to buy their own, but it's up to you.
Mm.
But a tip, I guess, is to make sure you buy good lock because bicycle thieves are very common over here. So definitely invest in a good lock.
Mm.
Mhm.
So regarding about this money stuff, so what usually cost you most during your studies?
For me personally, I think it was just food.
The food.
Food.
Yeah.
Other than
How
rent.
how you mean food as in restaurant food, or you going groceries the food in the groceries?
Most of my budget was spent on food, whether it's groceries or eating out. But I would say definitely cooking is definitely a lot more economical than going out to eat.
For
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. So going out to eat, yeah, it's not very sustainable to do it very often. I know it's very tempting because you might be your first year and you're meeting a bunch of friends and it's hard to say no. But yeah, so sometimes that's also a source of stress. You're like, I need to budget, but I also want to go out and eat. So
Right.
yeah, so I'd say going out to eat is one of the most expensive things.
Uh-huh. So what is the price level there, for example, compared to the cha chan tang in Hong Kong?
Mhm.
Around
Um,
how much is it?
it might be it could be around 20 to 30 Canadian dollars. And if I multiply about that by six, 120 to 180 HKD for a meal out.
Mm.
Yeah, but usually because you also have to add tax here and pay the
All right.
tips. So then that might
Oh.
also, you have to budget for that too.
So what kind of taxes do you have to pay? Like this, I think the VAT tax.
Yeah, we have a goods and services tax and products tax, but when you're eating, it's just like goods and services. That's about, I think
Mm.
that's 5% tax.
Mm.
The products one, so if you're buying like electronics, that's an extra 7% tax.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, just one a side question, not regarding your budgeting.
Okay,
So,
sure.
how do you need to pay tips in the restaurants? Yeah. And
Yes, you do.
how much you usually need to pay
I would say for me as a student, perhaps I'd say around 15 to 20%. I
of
think
the
is a
meal?
good starting point. Yeah. If you have a big group, they add that gratuity on automatically. So that's usually 15 or 18%. So that's, I guess that's a good benchmark for where you can set it yourself.
So they add it for you. instead of you pay them.
Yeah, if you have a big group, sometimes they will tell you upfront that, okay, we've already added 18% or 15% gratuity
Right.
here. Yeah, because they're servicing a big group. Yeah, but if you're, let's say, on just two of you, then you do need to add the tip yourself. Mhm.
So how would you add the tip? You add the tip with the machine, or
Yeah,
like
usually
with the
we
pay?
use the machine. Yeah, if you use a card, of course, if you pay by
Ah,
cash, then you should
right.
calculate that yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Nice. So you said food is usually your that food is usually called the one that costs you most. So have you ever experienced a period of time with a lack of pocket money?
Yes, yes, because it's you're just
That's very
starting out.
common.
Yeah, so you're like, I can't eat out anymore, or oh, I can only buy a certain thing. So like to cook, like minced pork or pasta or whatever, and then it might be a little bit more dry in those past couple of days, and you might feel really miserable. But yes, and then that's all part of learning how to budget for the next time so that you
Yeah,
don't have that experience again. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I remember that the time when I got lack of money the whole week, I was eating bread and I was searching for the ward for the class any instant noodles I could take, like all the ways to get like free meals.
Mm. Oh yeah, that's actually a good point. At UBC, there's also if you go on Facebook a lot, there are groups that it's like free food UBC. There's a group like that on Facebook, and then people would
What?
just post wherever what building or what event is giving out some free food, and then they'll post it on the chat so people can.
And is that like a family thing, like a family cooking meal, or it is a
No, it might be an event. For example, let's say
event?
maybe a club event or like a faculty event, and then usually people they might have like sandwiches or like
Oh.
cookies, coffee, that kind of thing.
Well,
Apples. Yeah.
I think that is a really really good event, and
Definitely.
isn't an app on the website, Facebook group, isn't it?
Yeah, Facebook
It's
group.
a
They have
Facebook group.
those.
Free food Facebook page.
Free food.
Very
So
good
you should
idea.
join those. Yeah.
Yeah, for students who have lack of money that week, I think very good point.
Mhm.
So, for the last question for this episode, do you have any word of advice you would like to recommend to the students who would like to study abroad or particularly want to study in Vancouver?
Mhm. Yes. So over here, I think it's especially if you don't know what you want to do or what subject that you really want to specialize in, I think it's okay to take your time and explore your options because
Mm,
there's a really broad range of subjects that you can do in university. And if you're not particularly oriented to choosing something so quickly, you can think about the living situation here and if you like to live here or not. And I think maybe that could be a factor in for you if you decide to want to live here in the future. And then maybe that could also help you decide what you want to do. And then that could help influence what you choose to do in university. So I think my advice is maybe take your time. Um, don't feel like you're in a rush to choose something necessarily. Because
mm,
yeah, I feel like I wish I'd kind of done this too. I finished my degree in 4 years, but I wish that it took a little longer so I can explore, let's say, do some co-op. So like working, so kind of working and learning at the same time, or maybe even taking a gap year if you want to take a break from your studies. Because I have a few
mhm,
friends who did that, and I think they came back happier and knowing what they wanted to do.
mhm. And I thank you so much for this advice. I think the word for this, I would say, patience, right? Have you be patient that no matter to be patient to make your choice, to think about your interest, think about what kind of decision you want to make, and also be patient to make a leap,
Mm,
to see some changes. You're not expecting yourself to have a new change right right away after you study abroad, right? That you have to be patient to let yourself get adapted to a new life, a new a new environment. Yeah. But
yeah.
thank you so much, Sabrina. Thank you so much.
No, thank
And
you, Alan.
I wish everyone here will have more idea how the way of living in Canada, um, and the way how to apply for the university in Vancouver. So thank you so much. If you have any comments, please comment down there, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, Sabrina, and
Thank
I
you,
wish you
Alan.
all the best and good luck with your broadcast.
Yes, and good luck for all of you too.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.